One-shot steaming piles. Doesn't really take much imagination to figure out what I mean by that, does it? But go ahead and dig on in. Well, okay, no, don't really do that. Just maybe watch, but don't play along. That's what I'd recommend. Or just don't watch at all because I'm not very good at this. That's fine too.
That technically wasn't an instant death. Wow. Now, let's just look at what just happened there. I've played this game for a little while. I'm angry, so I'm not playing well, but you saw me survive for 60 seconds. So I've got at least some sense of how to play the game. What could I have done there? What was I to do there? It doesn't matter how long I play this game. You throw me immediately into that kind of situation where both sides are in a really bad setup. I'm effed. I'm completely effed. And again, I like the mouse side much better. It's so much easier to control. Depending on the game, you know, a dodging game of this nature, the mouse controls can feel so much better. And I'm not a fan of keyboard controls anyway, so I'm always going to think that way. But let's assume I was a little bit more generous, that I did like keyboard controls in games more than I do. I would hate this one. Now, it's hard to show, but it slides. It builds up momentum. And that is not what you want in a game like this. So compare the two control setups. The mouse that is completely tight, that I have full all angle control, snapping to flawlessly, smooth, precise, tight. Now compare that to the left, where I can't go into really precise angles unless I'm really good at keyboard controls. I don't have to be really good with mouse controls to make it do that. You know, I just use a mouse. But this also has momentum. So you see it going slow, you see it going fast. That's not good. Now that can work fine in space shooter games. There's nothing wrong with that control scheme per se. But in a game like this, where you're cutting the screen in half, you're losing half of the screen to make effective use out of that momentum. It doesn't work at all. Especially when you have enemies coming at you from all directions, one-hit kill, and there's no signals, there's no little cues, there's no quick flash of red at the edge of each screen showing you enemy coming. Here's a heads up. Now that might almost be too distracting in this case. There might be too much stimulation if that were to be the case. But I don't think that'd be true. I think it would give you just enough time to be able to respond. Oh, excuse me. I got screwed there. But, I'm trying to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15? Let me count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 15. Let me make sure I counted left to right. 3, 6, 9. There is a difference! It's 15 tall and 14 wide. So, I knew it wasn't perfectly square. In theory, dodging ones that come at you from up and down is going to be that little bit easier than if it comes to you from left or right. You have that little extra, you have that one single space of more time to adjust. So if you leave your character dead center in the middle, you literally have more of a chance to dodge the... I keep calling them enemies, whatever you want to call them, but you have... There's a difference. And again, I think that's just a that just kind of further proves my point. This is not well designed. Son of a... can't... I'm having a hard time focusing at this point. But... I really just don't think this works. I don't think it's a bad idea, but it definitely isn't well polished. I mean, for gosh sakes, dude, let me spawn it in purpose. No, I'm purposely looking to get here. Now it's funny. It seems like after playing several rounds, it has stopped doing the immediate 8 at once. You're screwed. Like, I don't understand that. Why did it keep happening right when I first loaded in the game? Why would it? I mean, it shouldn't happen at all. Right? That's terrible design. But why would you have the worst possible situation for the very first few times you load in the game, where you have no chance? Absolutely none. But even... Let's think about this logically here, because I'm arguing that this is all completely random. But even if the benefit was, okay, we start you off on absolute hell, but the trade-off is the greens spawn in better places, so they're not as hard to get. You know what I mean? If that were the trade-off, there would at least be a benefit. There would at least be the upside, the uptick, being screwed immediately. But in this case, there isn't one. There isn't an upside. There isn't the trade-off. You're just effed. Gosh darn it. So yeah, yeah, in some ways, I'm glad that my first recording screwed up. I don't think I got quite as mad because I wasn't getting screwed as hard. But I also was able to think about it a little bit more, and I got more of a solid point out. I know I rambled and I didn't make 100% sense. I apologize for that. I think the asteroids example is the best I can come up with on the fly. But really, if you're going to make an arcade game like this, do not make it 100% RNG, 100% trial and error, no progression. At the very least, at the 100% very least, if you are going to do that, in the first 3 seconds of the game, make sure, well, in the literal first second of the game, make sure it's completely blank. Make sure an enemy cannot be spawned at the very first second. Give the player that much. Give them a chance. I mean, thank you. I couldn't have asked for that better example. Do not let that happen. That is trash. That is absolute spitting in the player's face. Go fuck yourself. That's bullcrap. That is absolutely disrespectful. I mean, it's not really disrespectful, but it's just terrible game design. I mean, nobody likes that. Nobody thinks, wow, I'm glad the game shafted me right at the very beginning. I'm glad the game just decides to throw me into absolute hell the literal second, the literal first thing I see, I am dead. I am in hell with no way to survive. I mean, again, I know I was only using the example of one on a screen at a time earlier. It doesn't need to be one on a screen at a time. You can have 2 or 3 things going on the screen. You can have several obstacles they have to deal with all at once at the beginning. But give them that little bit of breathing room and give them a chance to get a feel for the game. I mean, that's really the ultimate point. Because again, if you want it to be completely random and, it's just a matter of, hey, if you survive for 60 seconds because you got an easy RNG set up and it was really light and fluffy and, the last 30 seconds was as easy as the first 10 and it never really peaked that hard. I mean, if you really want that, then okay, I think that's kind of weird, but you do you. You're the game designer. But come on, give me a break. I mean, I'm going to tear this game apart, but... Anyways, that's my experience with Dupio. I hate it. I think everybody who gives it a chance will hate it. So, I guess I'm wrong. People have 100% of the achievements. More than I would have ever guessed. I don't know what the heck they're thinking. I mean, I am not going off camera to 100% all the achievements in this game. No. Especially, here's the real kicker. I think that might be my high score now, but I don't think it saves high scores in between sessions. I'll look into that. I will include that in my review, and I'll even put it in my video description. But that is ridiculous. Where's your incentive there? That's one of the key points of an arcade game. If you really go old school, high scores. I mean, it includes it here, but then it doesn't save your progress in between sessions, I think. I don't know how to check, but what the hell? Anyways, I'm done with this game. I'll see you around later, folks. And as always, Fruit and Doggy! I know, I biffed that. Sorry. Oh, what's that smell? Ugh. It's another Steam game nobody wants.